On a property near Landsfield, 70 kilometres north of Melbourne, trees are a serious growing concern. Producing an incredible 40,000 trees a year, this place sure knows how to grow healthy and vigorous plants. And they know all that they need to ensure success before and after they go in the ground. And I'm always ready to pass along any tips that I might pick up along the way. When people are looking for a tree, what do they need to look for?
I think they need to understand what they want to, what they're planting or where they're planting it, and what they want to achieve out of that first and foremost. So come armed with that question for your nurseryman, and then we can have that conversation about form and shape and space and how it grows and all that sort of stuff.
Damien Choate has been growing trees almost his entire working life. He started at this nursery in Year 10 on work experience. Fast forward 25 years and he's a partner in the business. Along the way, he's seen a bit of change in the way things are done.
Back when we first started, it was balled and burlap, so we plant the tree in the ground, grow it on for 3 or 4 years, so then we get to a 3-metre sort of tree, and we come along with our tree spade, which is now a relic in the back shed, dig it up over winter and, ship it off. But nowadays, we're producing purely above ground here at the nursery. And
you're talking about containers. These are not a typical plant pot, are they?
Yeah, this is what is called an air-prune container. So we've got cusps here that the roots are directed into. They hit the air, then they dissect back further in the root plate. And, you have a healthy, happy root system, not that woody root system on the outside.
So it's almost like tip pruning. It branches the root system inside the pot.
It does, yep, exactly what it does. So it's like pruning above ground, but below ground, so same theory.
And what's the benefit of that?
So we don't end up with what we've got over here.
Wow. I mean, that is awful, isn't it? That's never going to work if you plant a tree that has a root system that's going round and round like that. Yeah,
so this can be eliminated if root pruning is undertaken at time of planting. But clearly you can see that there was no root pruning done here, so we've got no breakaway whatsoever.
It's not only the production of plants that's modernised, so too has the advice on sticking them in the ground. All right, the big reveal. And so, is that ready to go in the ground?
No, I advocate no matter what, whether you're coming out of an air prune container or a hardball container, some form of root pruning.
What are you aiming for when you're doing this?
So we just want to cut any of these issues that are present here. So we want all the roots to be nice and healthy, so we haven't got any woody roots. So we can just do...
Just go straight down?
Yeah, a light prune on this. Make sure your shovel's nice and sharp. I put a little edge on this shovel.
Yep.
We've got a really tight root ball. A bread knife works really well.
Yep.
Or something like this little beauty that'll just cut through. And what it does is really expose those roots so we know that they're out, so we got none of that circling. And so we'll do the same on the bottom. We'll have a look. We can see we've got nice, healthy root system, but we still just want to break that away.
Oh, you shave the whole thing off. It's just come away like a flat piece of root.
Pizza base, ready.
Ready for the compost.
Yes, that's exactly right. So tidy that up, and I'm really happy with that, ready to go.
That is a pretty impressive size hole.
It is, so wider the better. So if you've got space like we have here,
yep,
dig it as wide as you can. It's going to give it its best opportunity for those roots to establish. We've chosen to plant this tree proud today because we've got quite heavy ground underfoot.
So by having it sit above, it means that that water can get away. You can always put more on, but it won't sit in a big bucket and drown.
Yeah, correct. Nice and firm as well. We want a firm base, so we don't have that sink into that well.
Stability underneath and nice and loose on the edges.
Correct. No real easy way to do these big trees.
Yeah.
We'll get it up in the hole.
So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, so we're happy with the height. We're nice and level here. We haven't dug too deep in, so we know we're sitting above that heavy soil.
Yep.
So it's now just a question of making sure we're happy with the orientation, which way it's facing, and also make sure it's straight. So we might just need to give it a little bit of a tilt there, and we put some soil in on this side.
Yep,
So you can do that for me.
Because you're going to look at that angle for a really long time. It's worth taking some time to get it right.
Then I believe every tree's got a face, just as much as we do. So choose that right face so it's a really good look.
You happy?
Yep, we'll backfill a little bit and we'll straighten it a little bit as we get some more soil in the hole.
We always have learned put a $5 tree in a $500 hole, but I can't see any manure or fertiliser or any added compost. This is just the soil.
We're lucky here, the site soil here, albeit it's a little bit heavy, and that's why we've chosen to plant it proud.
Yep.
This tree's got to survive in this situation, this site, for hopefully 100 years. So we just don't want to give it that false sense of security. As long as it's broken up and it's not too compacted, those roots are going to establish and away our tree goes. One thing we don't want to do, Millie, is we don't want to put any of the soil that we've dug up over the root plate. It's going to just run off and our root ball will dry out really, really quickly. We're just trying to form a well around the edge, or a moat, so when we water, the water's running through the root plate and into this establishing zone here, and the water's not running off and watering our lawn.
This is a great mulch. Mixed particle size, big stuff, small stuff.
It helps insulate the tree, but the particle size is critical. It lets that water drain through, not to spend it in the mulch, and we're getting that penetrating through into that root plate and that immediate site soil. So when we come into spring, this tree's getting what it needs.
Well, that looks pretty well set. Are you going to stake it?
No, this tree's well balanced. It doesn't need that stake, so I wouldn't normally stake it, and I definitely wouldn't plant anything under it or park a car. Do not park your car under it. Let this tree establish, and it'll outlive both you and me.
Well, I reckon that is great information for everyone to get planting. Thank you.
No worries.